I'm called BIRUNGI ANET. I'm a National Treasurer at Uganda Nurses and Midwives Union. I chose to be a nurse advocate, and I think right now it's the time we have decided as nurses that come 2022, if the CBA is not implemented and the figures which are in the CBA are not worked on, are not given to the nurses of Uganda, then we shall go back to the strike. Because in 2018, we sat together, the 10 unions under public service. We negotiated with government, meetings took place, cabinet ministers sat, and we agreed that these monies that we agreed in the CBA are going to be given to the workers of Uganda. It was well stipulated to be paid in 5 years. We have waited enough, and we think that people outside there should understand us. If we look at that money, the enrolled nurse is getting 600,000, and yet the enrolled nurses are around 600, around the 70% of the health workforce. What do you think that this nurse is going through? We agreed this nurse should get 1 million. We agreed the diploma nurse should get 3 million by 2022, 2023. We agreed that the degree nurse should get 4.8. So what people are not understanding right now, they think the nurses union is on strike all the time. No, that's not what we are talking about. We are talking about agreeing in a group. You accept, employer and employee accept to implement something, and then they implement other things, and they go behind to talk with associations, and they announce the doctor is getting 5 million. But where is this nurse? The nurse is in the hospital 24 hours. Dear brothers and sisters, it is the nurse who holds the doctor when the patient is very sick. It is the nurse that receives this patient in the morning when you are, anytime you approach, you come to the hospital. The nurse will receive you. The nurse will take your temperature, BP, respiration, pulse to make sure you are in a very good status. The nurse will check, has the skill to see the hydration level, the blood you have in your body. It is the nurse to do even the last office when you have packed and you have gone. So it is the nurse who will help you keep within the hospital. So why can't you listen to the nurses? Why should government always come out and say medical doctors are going to get 5 million, and then they keep silent on the nurses' side? So we are coming in 2022 to strike if the government is not listening to us. In 2018, the government came up with a salary enhancement structure under a collective bargaining agreement. We agreed that this document will be implemented for 5 years. We are now going to 2022, 2023, where the document is supposed to be closed. We are not seeing the government implementing this, though the Ministry of Health came out and said we shall know how all the medical workers will be in the salaries of health workers. All the science will be implemented, will be increased in 2022. But as leaders of the nurses and midwives, we would like to know how much is it that we are getting, because it is very, very important that during the budgeting time, all trade unions are aware of the monies that people are supposed to get. But if we keep quiet and we keep behind right now, they will give us any money they want. For instance, when they gave the 1.5 to enroll to intern nurse, many people were wondering what this intern nurse does. They actually think it is the doctor who finishes senior 6 and go to do degree nurse. They do not know that the nurses also do degree nursing, and after that they do internship. So they have been wondering. We want the community to understand that all these 2 people, they are in U4. So if they are to give 2.4 to the doctor, they should give, if they are to give 2.5 to the doctor, they should give 2.4 to the nurse, because they are all degree people. And what we want you to understand is these two people, the degree nurse and the doctor, they all go in the first year together. For example, if they are direct, they go in the first year together. They start the first year and second year together. Then after they go for specialty. Some go for, the doctors go for, they go for medicine, and then the nurses, they go for nursing, which takes a lot of time. Who stays with you throughout the time? It is the nurse. So we want this country to understand the work of a nurse. We want also to be thanked the way people go on TV and say, we thank the doctors of Uganda. We are the ones giving vaccinations. We are the ones. Even you think about this polio that is coming. If all the nurses say there is no giving polio, there's nothing that will happen. So as nurses of Uganda, we have a lot of grievances, but we are expecting the government to listen to us before time. Because right now, when you look at the period, we have come out early because people are working on the budget. So we have come out early. We are saying that let's negotiate. This is not a strike, it is a negotiation. But we are wondering why the government is keeping quiet, and all of a sudden we see something different in the work. And we're also wondering why the leaders of trade unions are not giving us enough support. All the time we are in hospitals, we are right now working, but they are saying we are striking. We are not striking now, but we're just telling the government that in case they don't listen to us, we shall strike. Because the judgment which came out from Honorable Bariomunsi, it stipulated different figures than what we have been negotiating and what is on paper. We expect that our patience be respected. We would like the patience of the nurses to be increased, but we also want government to listen to us. The nurses of Uganda, I request you wholeheartedly to holistically continue giving the care that you were chosen for, and care for the nurses, care for the patients. Patients outside there, we love you, and we really think that government will listen to us. Thank you.